Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to another live stream. And welcome to one of those live streams where I think one of those videos actually that I do, and I'm so happy that I'm doing them, but I'm also very, very skeptical. There are a couple of them that we do with mixed reactions. For example, when we win a game and we've not won it in the style, in the way we would love to win it, and I think this one feels like just like that game. It feels like a massive a win, a massive a big point because Mikel has been speaking to the media, and I want to react to the huge transfer summer budget that Arsenal will be dealing with in the summer, and the possibility that we will have to do what we had in the summer. So we are likely to have two huge summers, as confirmed by David Onstein, as confirmed by Mikel Arteta, and also by Fabrizio Romano. Arsenal will have another very huge summer. So that is what we're going to be talking about in this video. Do me a huge favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to find the channel again, if you want reactions to Arsenal news, if you want reactions to the latest Arsenal content, obviously make sure you subscribe to this place because it is the place for you. Now, to start off the podcast, though, I want to start off with William Saliba. Let's start off with William Saliba right there because, again, he's back in the news, and I think this time it is not a joke. I mean, look, these stories have never been a joke around William Saliba, and I've always felt very threatened by the fact that Arsenal could somehow, let him go, somehow lose him, in things that you call a joke, right? So this is the latest information that has come out regarding William Saliba's future at Arsenal Football Club. William Saliba has communicated his desire to stay at Olympique Marseille next season to the club hierarchy. Manager George Sampaoli, in recent meetings with management, has made Saliba the priority of the off-season, reporting at RMC Sports Exclusive. And that is something that I want you to read yourselves and find a way of internalizing it, find a way of harnessing it into your blood, right? So Saliba has apparently or reportedly now communicated his desire to stay at Olympique Marseille to the club's hierarchy. And manager at Marseille, George Sampaoli, has told management that his priority this summer will be taking William Saliba. Now, more on this story. The more interesting part in this story is that Olympique Marseille are still looking at signing William Saliba on another season-long loan. That is the only good news on the side of Arsenal. They do not want to sign him on a permanent. They would rather sign him on another season-long loan. Something that I think Arsenal should not actually, accept. We need William Saliba to come back in that defense. We need him now that we've gone to Europe and we have more games. There is no reason as to why he stays out of the club. If you sent him out to get that game time, to feel a little bit, better about himself, to develop, I think he's done it. There is no reason as to why Arsenal in the world, that Arsenal keep him on loan at Marseille. So let us explore the three angles that I thought of 3 weeks ago, and I'm going to bring them back on this podcast right now. The first angle is that William Saliba is frustrated and does not want to stay at Arsenal Football Club. Now, you cannot blame a player. Listen, lads, you cannot blame a player who, who has always come out and said, I need a chance. I deserve a chance. Thierry Henry put it very well on his recent, interview, and he was talking about Saliba, and he said, look, the problem with Arsenal and William Saliba is that they didn't give him a chance to fail. They did not even try to give him a chance to fail. And that is the worst case scenario you can have with the player. That is the worst case scenario, because it totally shows that he's not wanted. It totally shows that he's not appreciated. And with young players, in that age bracket, like 17, 16, 18, 20, 21, 22, one thing that keeps them in the team, whether they have game football or they do not have, is the fact that are those reassurances. You keep them feeling wanted, right? Now, Saliba at the moment is frustrated. You can. What are we gonna tell him? That is the question. What are we gonna tell him? That what? That we suddenly love you, that we are suddenly in love with you, and you're the best centre back in the world. He's not going to listen to that, to that bullshit. And we are lucky that, that it is not Real Madrid that has lost two centre backs, like Chelsea. For example, if it were Real Madrid that has lost two centre backs, because Madrid have been interested in him, so Atletico Madrid. We do not know how much of competition is going to come in, but can you believe that we're going to be competing with other clubs for our own player? That is, for me, that is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. And Arsenal put themselves in this situation. I do not know how we get ourselves out of it, but we've actually put ourselves there. No excuses there. No excuses. Arsenal have put themselves in this very, very difficult situation. Look, we might all blame Mikel and everyone like that, yeah. And I think Mikel has a big part to play in this, a very huge part to play in this. And he's been speaking about transfers, and he said, look, it's not about only buying; it is also the outgoings, right? And in my head, I said, if you're talking about a proper summer, a proper transfer window, you should be prioritizing bringing back William Saliba. You're gonna need him. You will need him. We've seen for 2 consecutive seasons now, Arsenal's season is being destroyed by injuries at the end of the season. That was last season. That was the case last season, and it's the case this season. Players like Partey, Ben White are injured, Gabriel Magalhaes are injured, and there is panic all over the place. And by the time the dust settles down, Arsenal have lost top 4, Arsenal out of Europe, Arsenal have done this and that, right? So with William Saliba, that is the first angle. He is frustrated, and that's why he's saying, bare minimum, right? Bare minimum, I would rather stay at Olympique Marseille. Because, look, Saliba is not a foolish boy. And I know his representatives are very, very clever. They're going to do this. They will pressurize Arsenal into, succumbing to ridiculous demands. Because that is where we've put ourselves. We've put ourselves there, open to competition with other clubs for our own player. Saliba's contract is going to run down. If you ask me who's the best young centre-back in the world, look, Paul Torres, we have Gabriel Magalhaes, we have Jules Koundé. I have a couple of them. Matthias de Ligt for me is very, very good. I would say he's one of the, actually the best. But Saliba is also very, very, close, in that conversation. And actually, he's there by merit. He is there by merit. And as clubs look for centre backs, as clubs now, decide that we need centre backs, they'll be looking at him. Chelsea, I won't be surprised if Chelsea knock on the door, because they've done it before. They've come to Arsenal before, taken Ashley Cole, right, out of the team. The bought him. We sold to them Olivier Giroud as well. So I won't be surprised if Chelsea come in and say, look, we want William Saliba, right? We've lost Rudiger. We've lost Andreas Christensen. Give us Saliba. If Saliba doesn't want to stay, and there is a way we can negotiate a deal for Conor Gallagher to come to Arsenal, and Saliba moves the other way, given he doesn't want to stay, I'll do the deal. I'll definitely do that. I'll give him to Chelsea and get Conor Gallagher, in the opposite direction. I'm not really saying that is what we should do. The priority should be keeping him. So that is angle number one. He's frustrated and he cannot trust Arsenal anymore. And that's the problem, right? Because Mikel has said players must be 100% committed. And I don't think Saliba's commitment is now 100%. We've lied to him. We've shown him that he's not that important. It's gonna take a lot of hard work if you're going to, um, you know, take steps in the opposite direction to win his trust back. Things he's gonna ask for. He's gonna say, give me an assurance that I'm gonna be playing in the Premier League 24/7. He can't do that. I don't think Mikel Arteta is ready to give him that reassurance. So that is the first angle. The second angle is that the agents of William Saliba are trying to pressurize Arsenal into a very good deal. Now, we know, according to Goal.com and Charles Watts, they did report that Arsenal planning on reintegrating or integrating, because I don't think he was integrated before, so it's not reintegrating, integrating William Saliba into the squad. We can now have 25 players in the squad. Our squad currently has 19 players, so 6 more positions. And of course, some players are going to leave, Edin Ketia and the others. So we have around 8 positions to fill in the summer. I'm not saying we're going to buy 8 players, no. What I'm trying to say is, of course, you could have the likes of Omar Hutchinson come in, the likes of Norton and the others coming in, and Miguel Aziz and Charlie Patinos coming in. But what I'm trying to say here is that the agents and the representatives of William Saliba, if they are smart, they know Arsenal will not want to lose William Saliba. So they are going to come onto the table and they will say, look, we want to stay at Olympique Marseille. So Arsenal then will be pushed to give them and give the player whatever they want. I mean, what other choice do we have? Him saying that he wants to stay at Marseille, he knows very well that is only if Arsenal agree. If Arsenal disagree, he cannot go back on loan to Marseille. But what he can do, he can refuse to sign a new contract with Arsenal, and then next season his contract will be 1 year less. That means that you're not even going to sell him for 30 million. You're not even going to sell him for 50 million. Of course, you could, but you will not get the money that you would have gotten if his contract is still has 2 years or 3 years. So I think there could be an element of exploitation there. Try to make sure. Of course, I do not blame the player's agent, because you want your agent, you want your client to be playing regular game football, to be getting regular game time, to be playing regular football. And I think if Arsenal don't see that early, we might end up having a problem. So the solution lies, for me, amongst all this, we need to talk to William Saliba and probably make him captain in Europa League. There's no problem there. I mean, just make him captain. I'm kidding. But my point is that we need to find a way of bringing the heart of William Saliba away, because we sent it away. And look, this is one thing that Mikel Arteta will never tell us, and he will never convince us that William Saliba is not good enough. No one is going to buy that bullshit. No one, especially on this channel. I'll never accept that. I'll never buy into that bullshit that William Saliba as a player is not good enough. I'll never buy into that. So that is the story, lads. Make sure you always tune in on a daily basis for fresh Arsenal content. But that is the story around William Saliba. So just to take a closer look at it one more last time, Saliba has communicated his desire to stay at Marseille to the club hierarchy. Manager George Sampaoli, in a recent meeting with his management, has made Saliba the priority in the summer, in the off season. So that's it. I need your thoughts. I need your opinions. I'll be taking them very, very soon about what you think about this lad, William Saliba. And do you think we should just let him go? Because that is also that is the third angle. Like, Arsenal could just let him go. We could just sell him. That is another angle. An angle that I think many Arsenal fans are not interested in hearing, and that's why I didn't explore it deeper and further. So away from that, let's get to the main focus of the video, which is the huge transfer deja vu. So this time it's a good deja vu. It's not a bad deja vu. I mean, with Arsenal, when we talk about transfer deja vus, it is always bad. It is always, we are tracking someone for so long and then they snub us and then they don't join and things like that. But this time it's a good transfer deja vu. Arsenal are likely to replicate last summer's transfer business and paste it in this summer. We are likely to cut, copy, and paste what we did last summer and paste it in this summer. Now, Mikel has been speaking to the media, and I'm going to explore his words. I'm going to try to paint a picture for you. But before we get into that, let's try to dig a little background about all these stories and where they've been coming from before Mikel Arteta confirming them. So, first and foremost, it was the Sun who came out and said that it is more likely that Arsenal will get 250 million to spend in this summer, provided they go to the UEFA Champions League. Now that is off. The UEFA Champions League possibility is off. But of course, I know the boss has been speaking to the media, very much knowing that UEFA Champions League is off the cards. So the Sun reported that we could get spend up to 250 million euros. Of course, plus player sales included. Provided we went to the UEFA Champions League. So that was the first story. Now, David Ornstein also reported, and he said Arsenal are most likely to bring in a central midfielder. They'll bring in a high-class midfielder and 2 high-class quality strikers this summer. Now, there is nothing about money there, but when we talk about high-class midfielders and high-class, strikers, you're talking about a minimum of 150 million, provided 2 strikers will cost you 100 million or more, and a good midfielder will cost you around 40 to 50 million. Fabrizio Romano as well came out and said that Arsenal are most likely to spend big in this summer with priority on getting in a very big striker. And he actually said something very interesting. He said this summer is not going to be about many signings. It is going to be about big signings. Very well. Very, very well. Now, Mikel has come out and said that Arsenal have the resources. We have the resources to spend in the summer. He said the resources are not unlimited, and I'll talk about that. Yeah, I'm going to talk about what he meant by unlimited resources, because many people think spending money should be 300 million, 400 million. Of course, it is limited. We already know that UEFA has brought in a couple of rules that will not allow clubs to be spending money anyhowly, right? So and rule number 1 is that if you're making 100 million, you can only spend 70 of that. So clubs will be spending 70% of the money they make, not making 100 million and spending 100 million. So Mikel today, speaking to the media, has talked about the fact that we have the resources. The resources are available, and of course, don't get fooled. The resources are at the money. And he has said something very interesting. And he said, we are trying to make sure that what happened last summer happens again. Now, you will remember, lads, that last summer there are very few clubs that spent more money than Arsenal Football Club. It's the first show I've done without a pen and paper next to me. No, I don't have a pen. I don't have a pen. But if we can do some simple maths, right? Last summer, Ben White did come in for 50 million pounds. We brought in Aaron Ramsdale, 30 million. That is already 80. We brought in Martin Odegaard for 30. That is 110. Then we brought in Albert Sambilokonga for 20 million euros. So that is almost 130. We brought in Nuno Tavares for 10 million euros. That's 140, right? And who else did we bring in? And Tomiyasu, 6 players. Tomiyasu signed for 18 million. So roughly, last summer we spent 150 million pounds. 150 million pounds. Not so many clubs spent that much, because I think Chelsea spent around 99. A fee in the region of 90s to bring in Lukaku, and that, I think that was it. Chelsea, City brought in Jack Grealish for 100 million. That was it. And then the other clubs didn't spend very, very much. United got Jadon Sancho on a bargain. They brought in Cristiano Ronaldo on a free, I think, and a couple of other things. So we were the highest spenders in the Premier League. Mikel said today that they are trying to make sure that the same transfer business, the huge budget they ran in the summer, is actually replicated. So my question, I do have a couple of questions, and I'm gonna front them and we'll answer them. But my first question is 150 million enough for our squad right now? That's the question I would want you to answer now in the comment section. Right now, that's where we are. Is 150 million that we spent last summer still enough for the upgrade that we need? Because Edu put it very, very clearly. He said the 150 million last summer was to lay a foundation, which I totally agreed with, right? Was to lay a foundation so that most of these players that we needed urgently and the positions that we urgently needed to fill could be filled. And that's why you had many players, quantity over quality. Now, I think this is where it gets tricky. With more football in Europe, with an extra day in midweek football, right? It doesn't become any easier. You need squad quality and you need squad depth. Right now, our squad lacks both of them. We lack quality and we lack depth. So the question is, the question here is 150 million going to buy us the squad depth that we need, and also get us the quality that we need? In my opinion, yes and no. No, it's going to depend on how we spend that 150 million, right? If you can bargain for a player like Tielemans and make sure that 30 million is enough, you bargain for a player like Gabriel Jesus and make sure that 40 million is enough. That is roughly 70. You get in another forward for around 30 million. That is 60 million on the forward line, and probably you spend the rest of the money in the fullback positions, and then you can also get in a couple of free agents, or probably a loan deal as well. I mean, that is how you would spend it. But if we want ultimate quality, if we want players that will line up in an Arsenal 11, and you feel this team has something to offer, 150 million is nothing. 150 million is nothing. Nothing. Because City have spent 74 million on a center forward. And Mikel's words have been very, very clear in today's press conference. He said, if you look at the gap between the top two in terms of points, on the table, and the goal difference, we are not anywhere near. And he's right. He's right. We are not anywhere near. But there are things that we can do to get closer to them. For example, we can probably not spend as they spend. It would be ridiculous to say we're throwing money, at every player because we want to be like City. But we can try to build with the same quality that they are building with. That's why I wanted players like Darwin Nunes. That's why I want players like Dusan Vlahovic. Because if City have uh, Haaland, Liverpool have Salah, Mane, and Diaz, and then Arsenal have Dusan Vlahovic, you have, you are in the, you have because Vlahovic can fight for the for the boat. Darwin Nunes can fight for the boat. Gabriel Jesus, can he fight for the boat? Very, very good player up front. I love him, and I know many Arsenal fans do. But can he fight for that golden boat? There might be questions around that. There might be questions around that. I don't want to say he can't, because I ultimately feel he can. Right? I think he can. So 150 million for me is still insufficient. What would be sufficient for me right now is like 250 million, right? 250 million. And this is the reason why I think 250 million is the money we need. You look at what Chelsea did last summer, but one. They literally lay a foundation. Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, and all these other players. So all they have to do is now get, they fix their defense next summer, and then the following summer they fix their midfield, which is aging, and becoming a little bit rusty. And then after that, in the next summer, they can deal with the striking line. But to get to where Chelsea are, you see, Chelsea are 20 points. I think, are they 20 points behind table leaders Manchester City? I need to check on that. But I think Chelsea are 20 points behind the table leaders, aren't they? They are. They're 19 points, behind table leaders, Man City. But trust me, if Chelsea are 20 points behind City, Arsenal are 4-5 years behind City and Liverpool. And many people will look at Chelsea as the underdogs, in that top three. But I will not be very surprised if Chelsea win the league next season, because they have the quality. And that's why I'm saying that for us to live with City, for us to live with Chelsea, get close to them, but also live with them, you've got to get out of that comfort zone and just wake up and say, right, we need the money. We need the money, and we need to spend it right now. This is the time where you spend the money. You're in the Europa League. You have so many, you have so many games. So spend the money before you go back to the UEFA Champions League. Grow your team together. It will make a lot of sense. So that's one. 150 million, is it enough? In my opinion, no. Arsenal needs more than 150 million. We need something like 250. That is the budget. But the good thing is that Mikel has confirmed the budget is going to be there, and there is a huge possibility that we will have a replica of what we did last summer. Something that I feel is okay. Yeah, something that I feel is okay. Something that I feel is all right. Get 150 million. Spend it. That means across 2 summers we spent 200 million. That is all right. I would really do. I wouldn't really have a big problem with that. I wouldn't really have a big problem with that, honestly. So that is that is one. Now the other point is, I'm skeptical because Mikel has come out and really poured his heart and mind out on transfer business, and he said, look, we need quality, we have the resources, we're going to bring in the quality, we're going to try to make the squad better in terms of quality and depth. And what has made me skeptical here, lads, is this: why does he say this in a press conference where Arsenal are going into their final game, but after bottling the UEFA Champions League? Is this some kind of PR stunt? Because look, there is nothing as reassuring to to fans as a manager who comes out and says, "Look, we are gonna spend, we are gonna splash the cash this summer, so trust us." Despite the fact that you've been knocked out of the UEFA Champions League, despite the fact that things have not gone very well, you try to trust him. You try to trust the team. Don't get me wrong. I want to trust my team. I want to trust the team, because the more you trust the more you get that unity and trust between the fans and the team, the better it becomes. But I'm a little bit skeptical. He says this after bottling the UEFA Champions League, and then he says this going into a game where we have lots of emotions but nothing to expect, right? I think it's a way of telling Arsenal fans that, don't worry, even if we don't go to the UEFA Champions League, we are going to spend after all. And next season, we'll be back and we'll be competing, which is not bad. But if that's what they're trying to do, that is patronizing, and I don't like it. Yeah, that's patronizing. That is, taking advantage of the fans. It doesn't look very good. That really doesn't look very good when a club, suddenly wants to take advantage of the fans. That really doesn't, work well. But anyway, that is also there. But look, the Cronkies are not to be trusted. This is the summer for them, and that's why I wanted Mikel to stay in the job. That's why I wanted Mikel Arteta to stay around. It is one chance for us to exploit, to expose the Cronkies. Now that they didn't get UEFA Champions League, what is their next strategy? Do they keep spending? Do they stop spending? Do they look for excuses? They have no excuses. Match revenue is back. Fans have been going to the stadiums. TV revenue is there and more. So they have no excuses. They need to put the money on the table. But now we have two. We have two issues with a huge budget. And the first one is that we might actually spend lots of money on players that are not the quality, because we are not in the UEFA Champions League. And this is my concern. This has been a very, very huge concern, I think, since the beginning of the season. And I've already sung the same song. Please get UEFA Champions League. Try to go to the UEFA Champions League, because it will make us a team that can get good players. So even if you get the 250 million, you do not attract Kylian Mbappe. You do not attract Erling Haaland. You do not attract Dusan Vlahovic. You do not attract Darwin Núñez. Today I've been reading a story, and I hope I will, cover all these stories for you. It was around Darwin Núñez, and the story was that Darwin Núñez and Gabriel Jesus both would love to play in the UEFA Champions League. Arsenal are trying to convince both players to join them. However, it's not going to be an easy run. Now, of course, we knew this. We always, we were always aware. The moment you do not have UCL, there is a category of players you cannot even talk about. There's a category of players that you can't think about. Darwin Núñez, and the level of competition around him. The likes of Victor Osimhen, the likes of all these players. They can come. Don't get me wrong. We could sign Victor Osimhen, but you have to do extra things in terms of attracting them. If you was going to earn like 80K per week, you need to give him 100K per week, because you're not in the UEFA Champions League. You have to look for other ways of being very attractive, and that is going to be a problem. And also, you have to think about total rejection. I think players like Aurelien Tchouameni, Dimas, you have said that we were looking at Aurelien Tchouameni. Now all those are off the cards. They're still very, very good players out there, the likes of Yves Bissouma. But if Liverpool have Tchouameni, right? If Liverpool buy Tchouameni, or if Arsenal bought Tchouameni and played him alongside Thomas Partey, that would be a massive upgrade. That would elevate our midfield by miles, by far. At the moment that we can, the fact that we can't do that because we are limited by UEFA Champions football, the lack of UEFA Champions League football, it comes back to haunt us, right? So I don't know the quality that we are now going to buy now that we are in the Europa League. I'm not sure. Like we brought in Partey from Atletico Madrid when we were in the Europa League. I still remember we brought in the likes of Gabriel Magalhaes, but I doubt you're going to bring in a key statement signing like Virgil van Dijk, like how Liverpool signed Virgil van Dijk. I'm not sure, right? And also given the fact that our history has not been that strong, has not been that good in the past 10, 15 years, we have nothing to show really in terms of, success and progress. We might end up spending huge amounts of money, having a huge budget and bringing in players that are not good enough, but because we have to pay over the odds, we have to attract them, with a lot of money because we have no UCL. That is one problem, and that is my concern. Now, the other would be a compliment, but I don't want to give it as a compliment. I think, honestly, lads, this is not a surprise that we should be having a high budget, that we should be having a huge budget. I think the problems that Arsenal have had over the past 6 years since Arsene Wenger, because if you look at the Arsene Wenger squad, that midfield, the midfield had died off. The midfield had died, right? So remember, Xhaka was here, Elneny was here, Ramsey was here, Cazorla, and Jack Wilshere, right? I think those were the midfielders that we had. Now we are only left with Xhaka, Elneny, and Partey. Partey is not an Arsene Wenger signing. Don't get me wrong. So these two need to go, and I think for me, Odegaard is a late signing. Oh, and Mesut Ozil, who left as well. Odegaard is a late signing. Odegaard should have joined this club, or a number 10 should have joined this club more than 2 years ago as a replacement to Mesut Ozil. A replacement to Granit Xhaka should have come more than 2 years ago. A replacement to Mohamed Elneny should have come more than 3 years ago, right? But we didn't do it. And the reason as to why that now we need to sign, many players and we need to have a huge budget is to make up for the mistakes that we didn't cover. I mean, so I'm not going to sit here and praise the Cronkies. Oh, the Cronkies are going to give us money. Oh, Cronkies are doing this and that. Yes, they're going to give us money, and probably I'm happy, right? I'm happy, but this is because they didn't do what they were supposed to do a couple of years ago. And Liverpool have done it very well. I love Liverpool and City. They've done it. Now, City are bringing Erling Haaland on that front line, but their defense is well sorted. Like, they don't need to bring in any defender. Their midfield as well, if Ike Gundogan leaves, probably goes to Arsenal like it has been rumored, but if Ike Gundogan goes, and if Ike goes, I don't think Bernardo will go. I don't think Kevin De Bruyne will go. If Ike Gundogan leaves and Fernandinho leaves as well, then that is when you might have a problem, right? That's when you might have a problem. Please make sure you hit the like button. For me, we are on 30 likes. Let's get that to 50, at least bare minimum while we are live. Hit the like button. So they're gonna lose 2 midfielders, right? And they don't need to bring in 2. No, they just need to bring in 1. They just need to bring in 1 midfielder. For example, they could bring in, if they could get a player like probably I don't know the style that Pep would really go for. But for me, if they could get a player like Ryan Gravenberch, if they could get Ryan Gravenberch from Ajax, just 1. So to reach that level where you just do smart signings instead of huge number of signings for a huge budget, you need to be doing things right. And the way we've been doing our transfer business has been wrong. There is no question about that. And the way Arsenal have been, handling their transfer business has been absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. I'm not even having a debate around that. We've been handling it poorly, leaving players to leave on a free and not replacing them. Players contracts running down, and then we panic, and then they leave, and then we don't replace them. We've been making mistake after mistake, and now I think this just gives us it. This has just Mikel Arteta and whatever we're trying to do has just given us an opportunity to rebuild our team, because we were bare bones 3, 4, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago. We were bare bones. That Unai Emery team that he took to the final, to the Europa League final, that was bones. Those were bones. Those were not. There was nothing in there. Those were bones. So this is now a chance for us now to build flesh around the structure, to build some flesh around the framework. If we don't use this opportunity, there is nothing. There is nothing in there. If we don't use this opportunity, lads, there is nothing in there. But thanks everybody for joining me. Make sure you hit for me the like button. It massively helps out. Cossy, thanks, but where are you broadcasting from? Because most of your updated don't happen. Why? Most of your updates do not happen. But I do give you my sources. And I've said you should use a lot of Twitter, because you'll have a lot of incredible sources in there, right? So that's it. Hi, Cossy. How are you doing, Hakuna? We need Lautaro Martinez. 150 million is too small. Look, it might not be very small. It might not be very, very small, but I think you might need another 50 on top of it. Yeah, it's not too small, but you might need another 50 on top of it. Of course, there is no doubt that in the market you have bargains. Like you have bargains. You could get a 50 million player for 30 or 25. You have free deals. I've seen around here that Arsenal would love to explore the possibility of getting Boubacar Kamara on a free. So you have all those in. You picture all those in there, and I think it's one thing that the Arsenal will have to feed off in this summer, especially when it comes to bringing in a right back. I've seen Aaron Hickey, which would be 20 million euros, which would be a 20 million euros deal. And I've also seen, I think it is Noel Molina from Udinese, which would be a swap deal between us and Udinese. Molina comes this side, and then Pablo Mari goes the other way. So, I mean, it might not be too small, but I think add 50 million, and then we can talk. Add 50 million on top of it, and then we can talk. Party is back in training. Exactly. So Party is back in training. Glenn will be covering the team news tomorrow at 3 p.m. Yeah, so Glenn will be covering the team news tomorrow at 3 p.m. Make sure you tune in. I love Arsenal, but I'm much worried when it comes to on the way Arsenal handles its transfers. And I think the worry now, lads, is that if Arsenal do not get out of their comfortable zone, if we don't get out of our comfort zone, other clubs are not waiting for us. Other clubs are not giving us, any time. It's no longer, like Mikel said today, it's no longer it's no longer a 4-team race to the top 4. It's no longer that. You now have 10 teams. 10 teams. So you have Spurs, Man United, and Arsenal. Those 3. You have Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City. Those are 6. Then you have Newcastle coming in there, and Aston Villa. Many people are not looking at Aston Villa, but you have Villa. You have Villa. So if Leicester City bounce back as well as West Ham and Everton get a chance to bounce back, it's gonna be so hard now because honestly, to be fair, if many years ago it was all about have I played the top four and how many points have I got from the top four. Then it became the top five, it became the top six, and it is rapidly growing into the top 10. You can go to Aston Villa and fail to win. You can go to West Ham and fail to win. You can go to Tottenham and fail to win. You can go to United and fail to win. You can go to Liverpool, Chelsea, and City and you fail to win. Those are 10 games where you can easily fail to win. Just imagine a league where you have 10 sure games that you will not win. Can you believe that? 10 sure games that you will not win. So it's threatening. And that's why Arsenal need to either act fast. If we cannot act fast, we need to act faster. There are no other options. There are no other options. There are no excuses in this one. There are no excuses. Cossy, how are you today? Tell me transfer for Arsenal. Big one, thank you so much. I'm in Kampala. Big transfer. Arsenal have completed the signing of Sao Paulo winger. That is all I can say for now. Hit for me the like button, people. Thank you so much, Anu. Thank you so much. Ndoka says, I just love Arsenal. We all do, bro. Thank you so much. And says, so we are going to buy another defender. No, get Saliba in the team now. Yeah, with Saliba situation, I would love to get in the team. I would love to integrate him in the team as well. But the problem now is that the player is second guessing whether to stay with Arsenal or to move on. And that is the problem. That is a huge problem. I've already said that Arsenal not serious with this Saliba situation. And finally, it is catching up on us. It is catching up with us. We thought we were clever. I don't think we were, I don't think we are that clever. We need Lautaro Martinez. We shouldn't let go of William Saliba. Okay, Arsenal fans low slightly better than Spurs, all still Spursy. Okay, why Arsenal been linked with the defender when we have Saliba? Now, the reason that's why we're linked with defenders is that there is a possibility. I think the media are trying to explore and exploit that possibility that William Saliba will leave Arsenal. So they are thinking the moment Saliba leaves and Arsenal have qualified for Europa, they will need a strong backup, a strong backup defender. And look, I don't disagree. Honestly, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I think to be serious, if Saliba leaves, we must bring in a centre back. We must bring in a centre back. Otherwise, actually, we bring in someone who can either deputize Gabriel and Ben White, like deputize both of them. I hope I hope that could happen. I hope we can do that. Yeah, I hope we can do that. All right. Why should Arsenal consider Samuel Umtiti from Barcelona when we have Aaron Saliba? Now, Umtiti has been linked with Arsenal. I've not been told. Listen, I've not been told that Samuel Umtiti, and this is true. I've not been told that Samuel Umtiti is liked by Arsenal, but what I've been told is that Samuel Umtiti has been offered to Arsenal and has been made available. Now, Umtiti is part of the clear out plan for FC Barcelona, just like we kicked out Socrates Papastopoulos and the other lads. He's part of the clear out plan. Honestly, he's part of the clear out plan. So, if anything happens, Samuel Umtiti should not land at Arsenal. Honestly, let's be honest. Samuel Umtiti should not land at Arsenal. I don't think he's. I think he's strong as a defender, but I don't think he's got the pace. I don't think he's got that pace to deal with the Premier League. I don't know, but I just don't feel like he's got the pace to deal with the Premier League. Samuel Umtiti, no. Not one of those that I would really want to see at Arsenal. Let's get Saliba back. Oh, what is Arsenal's problem? Okay, in my life, I had being seen desperate. Saliba, sell Saliba and bring Paul Torres. All right. I mean, that would be a good deal. That would be a good deal, honestly. That would be a good deal. Sell Saliba and bring in Paul Torres. That would be a good deal. Yeah, that would be a good deal. You know, if I were doing transfers, I think I would realize that is the hardest job to do. You know, Paul Torres is a player that is so good, one of the best in the French one in the Spanish La Liga. But one thing I would ask with Paul Torres is, do you bring him in as a starter or as one for the bench? I think as one for the bench. I don't think he's gonna negotiate a deal where he comes in at Arsenal and he's sitting on the bench. He wouldn't really agree to that. He wouldn't really agree to that. And if I'm Paul Torres, I don't agree to it, honestly. Okay, Cossy, what are your opinions on Nicola Pepe's situation? Okay, so look, we've talked about Nicola Pepe today. This is the second time I think that we're talking about Nicola Pepe, right? We only have 47 likes. Please make sure you hit the like button. 3 more likes to get them to 50. Thank you. 3 more likes to get them to 50. Now, with Pepe, I've been honest all my life with Nicola Pepe. I thought he would have worked regardless of the price tag. But what Mikel Arteta wants to do with his wingers is not what Pepe offers. And I'm sorry, I think the future of Nicola Pepe at Arsenal is slightly being, is slightly saying goodbye. We are slightly saying goodbye at it. And, in any case, I've been watching Joe Thomlinson, one of my best content creators on Football Daily on YouTube. You can go and watch that video on Football Daily. It is called, I think he's named it, Who Will Mikel Arteta Keep at Arsenal? And he's been doing a whole squad keep or sell. And we're going to do that on the video, on the channel. But when it came to Nicola Pepe, he said, Pepe, sell him when you can. Sell him when you can. Get something out of him when you can, because it's going to reach a time when Pepe is no longer only deadwood, but also a burden. Arsenal do not want to get there. You do not want to get yourself in a situation where Pepe is no longer just deadwood, but also a burden. So let him go. Let him go. As simple as that for me. Let him go as soon as possible. Just let him go. So Pepe, for me, let him go. I would let him go. I'm telling you, I would let him go. Can Arsenal get Pau Torres? I don't think so. Look, the clubs that are interested in Pau Torres, the clubs I know that are interested in Pau Torres, we have FC Barcelona. We have Manchester United, Eric Ten Hag's United. I love Ten Hag. And which other clubs interested in Pau Torres? And someone needs to remind me. Was it AC Milan? But now AC Milan have signed Steven Botman, right? Yeah, AC have signed Steven Botman, so he won't be going to Milan unless otherwise. So Barca and Barca are looking for replacement of Gerard Piqué, and I think Eric Ten Hag will be looking for a replacement of Harry Maguire. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. I don't want to make fun of them today. So will he join Arsenal over those two options? I don't think so. I don't think it would be a hard one. Yeah, it would be a hard one. Big up to you, Hakun, as well. Thank you so much. Okay. Salib says, hi, Cossy, thanks for the show. If you are Arteta and Edu, how would you spend 150 million? Me, I would bring in 2 strikers, 1 midfielder, 1 left back, 1 right back, and one winger. Okay. Cossy is Aubameyang coming back to Arsenal's squad. All right. Okay, let me explain the last one. Aubameyang is not coming back to the Arsenal squad. He went for good. The reason that's why I put him in, put him there is that is the last trophy that Arsenal won. That is the last trophy that I recognize. Right. So we need to win another trophy so that I can change that picture. Right. Yeah. So Aubameyang is not coming back. Aubameyang is not coming back. He's no longer an Arsenal player. So how would I spend 150 million if I were Edu and Mikel Arteta? I'm gonna give you fine details, and I'll do my dream transfer targets, and the ultimate window, and you will see the difference. But I'll try to maximize quality rather than quantity, right? For example, at right back, Arsenal have a very, very just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I want to look at the age of Brooke Norton Coffey. Okay. So at right back, Arsenal have an 18-year-old, one of the best young talents at right back, and that is Brooke Nelson Norton Coffey. We've talked about him. Side time I did a video about him. And it's just that I've not started dropping many of those player previews. That's why you've not seen one on him. But I would, instead of buying a right back, I would graduate Brooke Norton Coffey, bring him into the team. At left back, I would definitely spend at left back, because when you look at the left back situation, it's cost us this season. A poor throw from Tavares, give away the ball against Man United, give away the ball against Liverpool, give away the ball against Chelsea. Many errors. So I would spend at left back. Probably, if I don't know how much Tino Livramento would cost, but if Tino Livramento would cost around 20 million euros, I would go and get Tino Livramento from Southampton. That is already 20 million gone. The 30 million, I would spend 30 million on a midfielder. Not only 30, honestly, because if I can get a player like Lucas Paqueta for 50 million euros or 50, yeah, if I can get Lucas Paqueta for 50 million euros, I would spend that on him. I would spend 50 on right now. We have the Gabriel Jesus agenda already set, ball rolling. It's a rolling ball. So I would spend my 50, or I would spend my 40 on Gabriel Jesus, because his contract is running down, and the rest of the 40 million, I'll bring in two backup players, a backup midfielder and a backup striker. So what I would do, because this is 40 million, so I need to spend 20 million. Actually, there is also the option of Boubacar Kamara. So I would go and bring in Boubacar Kamara as well on a free. Boubacar Kamara on a free with Lucas Paqueta. That is midfield made better. Then I would spend the rest of the 90 million up front. 40, it's 80, not 90. So 40 on Gabriel Jesus, 40 on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, I know, but both of them cannot fail to work. If Gabriel Jesus comes to Arsenal and doesn't score the goals, Dominic Calvert-Lewin will. And Calvert-Lewin and Gabriel Jesus are very, very different types of strikers. One gives you the physical, the physical attributes and the aerial ability, and then the other just gives you, this, technical gameplay and switches and everything. which I know Mikel really loves a lot. So I would spend the 150 and it would work, but it would even be better if we had more money. For example, if you could spend 80 million on Darwin Nunes, then you spend 50 on Lucas Paqueta and 30 on Yuri Tillemans. Like, you, if you have that money, it just facilitates you better. But good question. Good question. That is how I would approach it, though. Okay, Cossy, is Aubameyang coming back? No. Hi, Cossy, new here. Big up to you. Oh, thank you so much for joining here. Amy's Arsenal News. Thank you so much, Amy, for joining us. I should get a mixer with effect. So whoever is new, we will be giving you. I should be giving you a shout out. Okay, I'm sorry, Cossy, um, for taking you back, but back. How far is Jesus still and Martinez? Are they coming? No, no reason to feel sorry. This is an Arsenal platform where we discuss Arsenal stuff, so it's a discussion. It's not really. We are not under any pressure. Okay, so with Gabriel Jesus, and I'll talk about Gabriel Jesus a lot next week when the league ends. With Gabriel Jesus, what we are looking at is a player who is weighing his options now. All these transfers you're asking me about, even if it's Lautaro Martinez, all these players are now weighing. Inter Milan, potential league winners, right? They're potential league winners. And that means they go to the UEFA Champions League automatically. The club that is also the other club that is also interested in the player is Atletico Madrid, and they will finish third in the Spanish La Liga. So Martinez will have to think harder if he's going to join Arsenal. It's the same situation with Gabriel Jesus. Reports are that he still wants to join Arsenal, but if Champions League football is available, then he will definitely go for that. And that is where the scare is. That is where the huge scare is. Make sure you hit the like button for me. Massively appreciated when you get that like button hit. Hi, Cossy. Thank you for the show. May you update me about Yuri Tillemans to Arsenal? Watching in from Kampala. Yuri Tillemans, look, it's a deal. I think high. He's high on our priority list. Very high on our priority list. That is what Fabrizio Romano has said. But he's a player who wants Champions League football. He's a player that Madrid are looking at very, very highly. He wants Champions League football. So if we can get him that, for example, if we can do a miracle. Mikel said, we will be cheering Norwich. So whoever loves Arsenal, please cheer Norwich tomorrow. How serious is Arsenal pursuit on Arthur Melo of Juve? The feeling I have is that if we cannot get Yuri Tillemans because we don't have UCL football, because we don't have Champions League football, then the player that we will go for will be Arthur Melo. And Arthur Melo is a player that is really appreciated by Mikel Arteta. I'll tell you that. He's really appreciated by Mikel Arteta. Really, really appreciated by Mikel. So, I won't be surprised, if Arsenal get that done. I won't be surprised. We wanted him in January, and we failed to get it done. Yeah, we wanted him in January and we failed to get it done. So I won't be very, very surprised if we go back in for him. We are really interested in him. Yeah, we're really, really interested in him. Okay. So I think that is it. We've streamed for an hour and we've covered what we wanted to cover. Please make sure you hit the like button as always. Your main host, Cossy. But of course, Glenn is always on the channel with lots of content. Tomorrow is going to be giving you the latest around Thomas Partey and the team news for the game. I'll be doing my predicted lineup. I'll be doing my preview. I'll give you the transfer news updates as usual. Good night, and Cossy will speak to you tomorrow. Anywhere you go.